Hello. In this video, I wanted to address a topic that's near and dear to my heart. A natural medicine called homeopathy. What is homeopathy? It's based on the concept that like cures like. Everything on this planet Earth that is alive emits a certain frequency, a certain energy. You and I do as well. And when we are ill or in a state of disease, our frequency changes. And so if we find the living energetic substance that corresponds with that state of disease energetically, we may treat it and indeed cure it. The trick is to find the right substance for you. And so today, I wanted to speak about one of the primary remedies in homeopathy that can be so useful in everyone's lives. That remedy is called Arnica. You may have already heard of Arnica. It's one of the most common remedies to start with when we start the path of homeopathy. What is it? It's a plant. It's one of our botanical remedies. It's grown in the alpine regions of Europe. And now it's grown in the US as well for a long time. It has yellow flowers. And Arnica, in its very brilliance, does very important things for us. If we're in an energetic state of trauma, of shock, physically, emotionally, or mentally, Arnica's energy can correspond with that energy and can take it away, can make it dissipate, almost as if it's a magical elixir. What does Arnica help with? Arnica helps cure, deal with, treat the bumps and bruises of life. Through life, we all have various bumps and bruises, don't we? Starting in our younger years, as a toddler, when we're first learning how to walk. We have many falls, shoots, bumps. I have 3 boys, and so I witnessed this firsthand. And oftentimes they would have what we call a goose egg on their forehead, for example, showing inflammation. Later, a big bruise can develop, showing a certain type of hemorrhaging in our inner tissues. And the beauty of Arnica in this context is that if you apply it either in gel form topically or by taking specific granules, which I will show you here today, it can take away that energetic state associated with the physical trauma and prevent the goose egg from forming, and prevent even a bruise from forming. Or if it does, it lasts a lot less time and is less profound and shows up less on the skin. My skin is very fair and I bruise very easily, reflecting a sensitive nature on all layers physical, mental, and emotional. Children are like this as well. And so if we treat at the first signs of trauma, at the first signs of shock, we can avoid the emotional information from materializing on the physical plane. And if some of it gets through, it passes easier and quicker. This is also valid for emotional shocks. A friend of mine with a beloved pet, she has a dog. The other day she called me. Her dog had had epileptic seizures. She thought her dog was going to pass, and it put her in a state of anguish and anxiety. In this emotional state, she had to repress and suppress in order to do what was necessary to get her dog to the emergency room at the veterinarian to deal with his trauma, with his physical condition. And so, when her dog was okay, she was left shaking with the remains of unprocessed emotions. How many times does this happen to us in our lives? So many traumatic events, medical emergencies, the loss of a loved one, close calls, car accidents, falls, traumas of all sorts that can impact us emotionally as well as physically. And I don't know about you, but often I discount the emotional state a little too much. And what we found in natural medicine with a holistic approach, such as homeopathy, if we neglect our emotions, that energy doesn't go away. It simply transforms itself on the physical plane into various maladies and illnesses. A state of dis-ease becomes transformed into something more solid. So in order to avoid that from occurring, it's important to respect your emotions and not neglect them. This comes with respecting who you are as a human being, honoring what you feel. A lot of times society and our families have taught us to keep a stiff upper lip and just to deal with what's going on and keep going. But that is a mistake, because our bodies are multi-layered. And any trauma or shock that has had an impact on one layer affects the others. If we have a physical ailment, if we break our leg, we immediately isolate it, stop bleeding, go to the doctor, have it reset, put on a cast. We don't usually have a problem with that aspect. It's pretty obvious. And no one's going to give us a hard time if we take care of our broken leg. But if our spirit is broken through heartache, for example, through having to carry the heavy lifting of taking care of a loved one, a child who's having a hard time at school, an elderly relative who needs care. Well, we need to take care of that emotional shock and trauma as well before it wears us down, gets heavier and heavier, and shows up in physical symptoms. And so I welcome you to begin your journey into natural medicine, natural approaches with no negative side effects, only the positivity of helping to clear these emotional states that bog us down and can make us ill in the long term. And so on a practical level, you may ask, how should I take the Arnica in homeopathic form? Well, homeopathy is sold in different preparations. And the classic is through Granules. Okay. These are granules of sugar, and therefore very easily dissolved under the tongue, away from mealtime with an empty tummy. The sugar has been imbibed with the liquid substance, the medicine. In this instance, the plant that carries the energy that corresponds with what we're going through at that time. And it helps that energy to pass in a natural way. Energy meeting energy. Treating in a gentle way. And so I encourage you, with your own bumps and bruises that you accumulate through life, try 3 or 5 granules of Arnica in a 9C or 9CH for physical trauma, shock, and in a 30C or 30CH for mental and emotional trauma. Give it a try and let me know how it goes. Much love to you.